Success isn't just about talent. It's about hidden patterns and opportunities you've probably never noticed. Today, we're diving into Malcolm Gladwell's eye-opening book, Outliers, where we'll uncover the surprising factors that make certain people rise to extraordinary levels of success. In this video, we'll break down the key insights from the book, including the 10,000-hour rule and the hidden advantages that can help you turn your potential into greatness. If you're ready to unlock the secrets behind exceptional success, make sure to subscribe for more insights that could change the way you think about achievement. In the first chapter of Outliers, Gladwell introduces a fascinating concept known as the Matthew effect. The idea stems from a biblical reference, where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. But Gladwell applies this to success, showing how even small initial advantages can compound over time. One of the examples he dives into is the world of Canadian hockey, where players born earlier in the year, say January, tend to perform better simply because they are older, bigger, and stronger compared to their peers born later in the year. This slight physical edge means they are more likely to be picked for elite teams and receive more advanced coaching, which then snowballs into even more opportunities. Now, imagine you're trying to become a top athlete. If you're just a bit older, you could get noticed by a coach early on. With better training and more playing time, your skills improve faster than someone who didn't have that early opportunity. As you progress, your initial advantage grows, making it easier to succeed. This is the power of a cumulative advantage, and it happens in many aspects of life, not just sports. In summary, what might seem like a small difference at the beginning can lead to significant outcomes later on. Those who start with an edge continue to benefit as opportunities build upon each other. Principle number 1 is the Matthew effect. Success often comes from small, initial advantages that compound over time. In the second chapter of Outliers, Gladwell introduces the concept that mastery isn't just about talent, it's about time. Specifically, he argues that true mastery in any field requires at least 10,000 hours of dedicated practice. Whether you're an athlete, musician, or entrepreneur, talent alone won't get you to the top. It's the long, consistent hours of effort that make the difference. Gladwell emphasizes that it's not just the skill you have, but the time you put into perfecting it that sets you apart. He uses examples like the Beatles and Bill Gates to illustrate his point. The Beatles played thousands of hours in small clubs before becoming famous, honing their craft through relentless practice. Bill Gates had early access to computers and programming, allowing him to accumulate his 10,000 hours long before most people even had a computer. These opportunities for extensive practice gave them the edge to become extraordinary in their respective fields. Now imagine you want to become an expert in something. Maybe it's learning an instrument or becoming a top coder. The more time you dedicate, the more natural it becomes. It's not just about talent. It's about showing up day after day, chipping away at those 10,000 hours until you break through to mastery. In summary, success is less about inherent talent and more about putting in the time to practice consistently and persistently. Principle number 2 is the 10,000-hour rule. Mastery comes from 10,000 hours of focused practice, not just talent. In Chapter 3 of Outliers, Gladwell challenges the widely held belief that a higher IQ automatically leads to greater success. He explores the idea that intelligence, while important, is not the sole factor that determines whether someone will excel. Through real-life examples, Gladwell demonstrates that many exceptionally intelligent individuals, those with IQs far beyond the average, did not go on to achieve the level of success you might expect. In fact, their brilliance alone wasn't enough to propel them to the top. One of the most striking examples is the story of Chris Langan, a man with an IQ higher than Einstein's. Despite his intellectual capacity, Langan struggled with navigating the practical aspects of life, like knowing when and how to ask for help, and ultimately did not reach his potential. The message is clear. Intelligence without other crucial factors, like social skills and the ability to adapt to various situations, may not guarantee success. Imagine you're a brilliant student, excelling in every subject but not quite able to translate that into the real world. You might be missing the practical tools, such as communication skills or the ability to work with others, which are just as important as your intellect. This is where the trouble with genius lies. It's not just about how smart you are, but how you use that intelligence in different contexts. In summary, raw intelligence can only take you so far. Other factors, such as practical skills and adaptability, play a significant role in determining success. Principle number 3 is the trouble with geniuses. Intelligence alone is not enough to guarantee success. Other skills are equally important. In Chapter 4 of Outliers, Gladwell builds on his argument from the previous chapter by introducing the idea of practical intelligence. This type of intelligence is about more than just IQ or book smarts. It's the ability to navigate social situations, build relationships, and use those connections to your advantage. Gladwell contrasts two individuals, Robert Oppenheimer and Chris Langan, to illustrate this point. Both were incredibly intelligent, but their success differed greatly due to their social skills and upbringing. Oppenheimer, despite facing challenges, used his charm, connections, and social savvy to lead the Manhattan Project. He had the practical intelligence to handle complex social dynamics and work within the system to achieve his goals. On the other hand, Langan, despite his extraordinary intellect, lacked these social tools, which severely limited his opportunities for success. The lesson here is that raw intelligence may open doors, but it's practical intelligence that helps you walk through them. Imagine you're brilliant in your field, but struggle with communicating your ideas or building relationships. Without those interpersonal skills, your talent may never reach its full potential. Success, as Gladwell argues, often requires more than analytical intelligence. It's about knowing how to work with people and leverage the resources around you. In summary, while intelligence is important, success often hinges on practical intelligence, being able to navigate social situations and use relationships to your advantage. Principle number 4 is practical intelligence. Success requires not just analytical intelligence, but also social skills and the ability to leverage resources. In Chapter 5 of Outliers, Gladwell dives into the story of Joe Flom, a successful lawyer whose rise is a perfect example of how timing, background, and seizing opportunities shape success. Flom's story offers 3 key lessons: demographic luck, the value of being marginalized, and the importance of meaningful work. Gladwell explains that Flom's success wasn't just about talent. It was about being born at the right time, during an era when the legal industry was booming and looking for people willing to take on unconventional cases. One key factor in Flom's success was demographic luck. Born during the Great Depression, Flom entered the workforce just as the legal field was expanding. Unlike his more privileged peers who turned down less prestigious work, Flom was willing to take on any opportunity. This work ethic, combined with his background of marginalization as a Jewish lawyer in a field dominated by non-Jews, allowed him to carve out a niche and build expertise in areas that later became highly sought after. Now imagine you're in a situation where the odds seem stacked against you. But just like Joe Flom, you recognize that the very challenges you face could be your advantage. By taking on the less glamorous work and honing your skills, you could find yourself in a position to seize opportunities others overlook. Success isn't just about being the best. It's also about being in the right place, at the right time, and being prepared to take advantage of it. In summary, Joe Flom's success illustrates that timing, resilience, and meaningful work can be just as important as talent. Principle number 5 is the 3 lessons of Joe Flom. Success is shaped by demographic luck, embracing marginalization, and pursuing meaningful work. In Chapter 6 of Outliers, Gladwell explores the profound impact of culture and community on behavior and success. He tells the story of a violent feud in Harlan, Kentucky, where a culture of honor shaped the way people responded to conflict. This culture, deeply ingrained in the Appalachian community, revolved around defending one's reputation at all costs, even if that meant resorting to violence. Gladwell uses this historical example to highlight how cultural legacies influence the way people behave and how they approach life's challenges. The people of Harlan were heavily influenced by the culture they grew up in, which valued toughness and retaliation. This mindset was passed down through generations, creating a pattern of behavior that impacted how individuals responded to conflicts and perceived threats. While the feud in Harlan is an extreme case, the lesson is clear. Where you come from and the cultural norms you inherit play a significant role in shaping your behavior and your definition of success. Imagine growing up in a community where reputation and honor dictate your every move. Your reactions, whether in business or personal matters, would likely be influenced by the cultural expectations passed down to you. This chapter shows that success is not just a personal journey, it's also heavily shaped by the community and cultural background you're part of. In summary, Cultural legacies have a lasting impact on how people respond to challenges and conflicts, influencing their overall approach to life. Principle number 6 is cultural legacy. The culture we inherit shapes our behavior, influencing how we respond to conflict and approach success. In Chapter 7 of Outliers, Gladwell delves into how cultural differences can lead to communication breakdowns. With plane crashes serving as a striking example, he examines the role of power distance, which refers to the degree of respect for hierarchy within a culture. In countries with high power distance, subordinates are less likely to challenge authority, even when doing so could prevent serious mistakes. Gladwell shows how this cultural tendency has real-world consequences, particularly in the aviation industry, where clear and assertive communication is crucial for safety. Gladwell illustrates this with examples of plane crashes that occurred, not because of technical failure, but due to miscommunication between crew members. In cultures with high power distance, co-pilots were hesitant to directly challenge the decisions of the captain, even when they noticed something wrong. This reluctance to speak up, born out of cultural respect for hierarchy, led to fatal errors. The chapter underscores how vital open and assertive communication is, especially in high-stakes situations. Now think of a time when you held back from speaking up because of respect for authority. Maybe it was at work or in a team setting. Imagine how different things could have been if you had voiced your concerns. Gladwell's exploration of plane crashes shows that effective communication can save lives, and cultural norms should not stand in the way of clear, honest dialogue. In summary, cultural tendencies, especially those related to hierarchy, can have significant consequences when they hinder open communication. Principle number 7 is the ethnic theory of plane crashes. Communication breakdowns due to cultural norms around hierarchy can lead to disastrous consequences. In Chapter 8 of Outliers, Gladwell highlights the powerful connection between cultural traditions and success, particularly in areas that require persistence, like mathematics. He uses the example of Asian rice farming to demonstrate how hard work and attention to detail have been deeply ingrained in certain cultures. Unlike Western farming, which relies more on machines and seasonal patterns, rice farming requires meticulous year-round labor. This tradition of continuous effort has shaped a culture that values persistence, patience, and hard work, traits that also translate into success in fields like mathematics. Gladwell points out that cultures rooted in this work ethic tend to perform better on math tests. Success in math, as he explains, isn't just about raw intelligence. It's about perseverance and the willingness to put in the effort to solve complex problems. The cultural legacy of hard work passed down through generations plays a significant role in why students from these backgrounds often excel in math. Imagine you're facing a tough challenge, whether it's learning a new skill or tackling a difficult problem. The lesson here is that success doesn't necessarily come from talent alone, but from the effort you're willing to invest. Just like rice farmers who persist day in and day out, the key to mastery in any field is consistent, hard work. In summary, cultural traditions that emphasize hard work and persistence are often the key to success, especially in demanding fields like mathematics. Principle number 8 is hard work and persistence. Success is more about sustained effort and perseverance than innate talent. In Chapter 9 of Outliers, Gladwell examines the success of students in the Knowledge is Power program, KIPP, a school that challenges the traditional education system by offering extended school hours and a rigorous academic curriculum. The chapter highlights how these changes give disadvantaged students the opportunities they need to excel. Gladwell makes it clear that success is not simply a matter of innate talent, but of access to the right environment and opportunities to thrive. The story of Marita, a student at KIPP, illustrates this perfectly. Despite coming from a disadvantaged background, Marita was able to achieve academic success thanks to the structure and support provided by KIPP. With longer school days, more time for learning, and a focus on effort rather than talent, students like Marita can overcome the odds stacked against them. The program shows that, with the right support system, even those who start with less can succeed in remarkable ways. Now imagine you're a student who struggles in a traditional school environment. You might feel like you're not cut out for academic success, but with the right opportunities, like those offered at KIPP, your potential could be unlocked. Gladwell's point is that success is often about access to resources and a supportive learning environment, not just raw talent. In summary, Marita's story shows that success comes from opportunity, effort, and the right environment, not just from innate ability. Principle number 9 is opportunity and support. Success is built through access to opportunities and a supportive environment, not just raw talent. In the epilogue of Outliers, Gladwell turns inward, reflecting on his own family's history and how the opportunities and sacrifices of previous generations shaped his success. He tells the story of his mother, who, despite growing up in Jamaica under challenging circumstances, was given access to educational opportunities that changed her life, and ultimately his. This personal story ties together the broader themes of the book, showing how cultural legacies, family influence, and access to opportunity shape individual lives in profound ways. Gladwell's mother didn't succeed solely because of her own hard work. Her path was paved by the decisions and sacrifices made by her ancestors. Her story illustrates how success is not just about individual effort, but is a cumulative result of the opportunities one receives, often due to circumstances beyond their control. Gladwell uses this personal connection to underscore that success is deeply rooted in external factors like family, culture, and opportunity. Now think about your own life. What opportunities have you been given, and how have they shaped your journey? Just like Gladwell's mother, we are all influenced by the sacrifices and circumstances of those who came before us. The epilogue reminds us that success isn't an isolated achievement. It's built on the foundation of past generations and the opportunities they were able to seize. In summary, Gladwell's family story highlights that success is not just about personal effort, but is the product of cultural, familial, and external factors beyond individual control. Principle number 10 is cumulative. Success. Success is shaped by the legacies of culture, family, and opportunities that build up over time. In Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell challenges the traditional notions of success, demonstrating that it is not solely the result of individual talent but a product of cumulative advantages, cultural legacies, and timely opportunities. Through compelling examples, he reveals how external factors play a critical role in shaping extraordinary achievements. In today's fast-paced and interconnected world, Gladwell's insights remind us that success often depends on the unseen forces of opportunity, timing, and support systems that we must learn to recognize and harness. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you liked what you saw, a like would mean the world to me. It helps support the channel and lets me know you want to see more content like this. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.